And another fun fact, I did the first ever celebrity basketball game at the Gauchos gym
Nice.
with Big L. It was somebody, but Big L was the one. He performed. Kid Capri. I mean, there was so many celebrities, and like I set the tone for the. I'm not gonna say that, but the celebrity basketball, and because hip hop and basketball, especially in New York at one time, was all anyone ever did. Even if you did
Yeah.
something else, you were involved in eat one. Even if you didn't play, you at least watched or were involved in activities that because at the time, I mean, you had Mark Jackson, like I said, Ross Strickland, Kenny Smith. You have so many Malik Sealy. You have so many New York players that actually got into the NBA, and during that time, like basketball was definitely a thing, and of course, hip hop was a thing. So I know that most of us had eyes on either hip hop or basketball. So that's one of the reasons why I asked you, because a lot of people back then, um, well, baseball too, because the Yankees was definitely winning, back in the '70s.
Yeah.
But them I don't want to sound racist, but them damn Puerto Ricans and Dominicans just overthrew everything when it came to baseball in the Bronx, particularly. But anyway,
Well, that's like my nickname. So that's how playing ball. So I got my nickname. So 17-year-old Jason, right? Went up to Rucker, 55th, and I was playing on the posse, and
yeah,
so to the basket, layup, and one, dunk, and one. I kept getting and one. So the announcer was like, "Yo, like he keeps finishing, like he keep delivering." Oh man, we can't call him the mailman because he's too young. We'll call him the messenger. And I'm like, the messenger? I'm gonna be the messenger. What the fuck is that? I wanted to be like the warrior, somebody, a
yeah,
predator, something tough. But so the messenger, and then it's stuck, and mess for short. So
yeah.
to the point, like we met through Blue, and so
Oh yeah, yes, blue,
and and Blue,
blue.
and I met Blue playing for him, and when he had his team. Mike Tyson put a team in to the Rucker, and that's how I met Blue through Dorian. So,
Yeah,
the music and basketball, entertainment and basketball, the intersection is well interwoven,
yeah,
in our history, especially late '80s, early '90s, into the
yeah.
2000s.
I don't know, like and we may have interacted on record because I used to coach Seth G's team. Because I know that in some of the tournaments that you played in, we played in as well. Of course, you was on the opposing side, like throughout the Bronx and Harlem, wherever. Because back then it was like a league on every block, and everybody played at least in 6 different leagues. I don't know how it is today, but I still don't know how we were able to like have like 3 games in a day. And I wasn't playing; I was coaching, and I was tired, so I can imagine the players. But it was it was a thing,
You split the
and
teams up. You split it up. So you have half your team go to one game and start, while the other team, like, so y'all start the first game. Then you get
yeah,
the lead, and then you send the other, that's the second game, finish up, they come over, then they play, and then y'all win the game, or whatever. That's basically what you did. But there was so many
yeah,
good players. Teams were
yeah.
loaded with
I mean,
quality.
my teams, I had Malloy, Shane, like what, and the funny thing is like during that time was like the heat of New York City basketball when it came to like just the whole mindset of everybody, especially when it came to the Rucker games. So and one sponsor, well, and it also did. I think you played in a couple of video music box games as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because and I coached and organized the video music box team, and one we were the first team that they sponsored before they became and one and one mixtapes. So, like, even when I was involved in that aspect, it was like amazing seeing the type of players and who played and who went on to the NBA and who did certain things during that time. And like I said, I know that you played in several tournaments, and like you said, you tried out for the Knicks, wasn't good enough. Now let me stop. Sorry, I'm sorry. But I know when you played overseas. Now I know that overseas is a different game and a different mindset, and a lot of players, even some NBA players, got a chance to play overseas. how is playing overseas for you, as opposed to playing in the States? Because I know different rules, different everything. Like, how are you able to do that? And then you played in like 5 different countries, right?
Yeah.
So, like, in each country had their own rules, right? Well, I know international rules are different,
Yeah. You got
but I
FIBA
know that
rules.
sometimes it's style as well.
Yeah. So you got FIBA rules. So FIBA rules, they govern the international, the Federation of International Basketball. Um,
Yeah.
and so that's one constant. But the thing is, it was definitely different. So like in Chile, right? At halftime, everybody's in the stadium. They all smoking, so they all smoking cigarettes. So you got this cloud of smoke hovering over your head. And, you're trying to play this game. Saudi Arabia, uh, we start playing, and then we got to stop because they got a prayer. So it be games where you start playing, and then maybe like middle of the first half, stop. They go pray. So at first, I would just go in the locker room and just wait, and then now you got to warm up again, and you got to get started. After a while, I just went to pray too, because it just made sense. Um, France was interesting. That was like my last stop. Just a lot of politics, like just playing, man. And I think that it was very mentally, it was tough because
I
you're
can
always
imagine.
being tested. You're always being like, people are always trying out if they were going to jerk you as far as pay. Because again, you got to think about it. You're in somebody else's country, you're staying in their apartment, you know, you're at basically their whim. And so you had to trust that your agent was going to put you on a team that was going to take care of you. And, I've definitely heard of stories of guys getting jerked. For me, like my last my last team, I literally sat in Charles de Gaulle, and this was like right around 9/11. So this is right after 9/11. So you can imagine Charles de Gaulle airport, everybody's got they got the big guns walking around. And after my time, I'm waiting for them to change my ticket so I can come back to the States. I literally sat in the airport like an entire day. And I like wrote out everything I had done up until that point in basketball. So I was content with my career at the time. Like, I gave it my all. Like, again, getting almost to the NBA and then going overseas and playing and being able to see the world, playing for the national team twice. Um, you know, things that a lot of people have never done. So,
Yeah.
but I was still with Nike. I was still involved with Nike, and Nike, because of N1 and what they were trying to do, Nike wanted to say, well, we not doing trick basketball, we're doing real basketball. So we started, we did it for real. So that kept my love for the game. I actually grew it because at that point, you're kind of disillusioned, like this is some bullshit, And now here I am making more money on the marketing side, going around the world doing, tours with Vince Carter and, hanging out with Rasheed Wallace and, doing all kind of activations and getting paid for it. Right. So that was pretty dope.